Hey, I'm back again. We're doing another update on the drift car slash finishing it up, trying to get it done for this season. Remember, if you'd like the video, give me a thumbs up, comment, ask a question, and if you could, subscribe to this channel for more. So let's jump into it. I'm going to show you what I've been doing on this car and what else I have planned for it. First up, I've been working in the engine bay. I have this loop here in this LS motor. I had just a regular straight hose looped and it had a kink in it. Supposedly, it needs to see flow through there, so now the car should run 10 degrees cooler, which I could very much need. This car does run hot when it's in traffic. I'd like to eventually upgrade to a bigger radiator, but this one should be plenty. It's 4 V8. It's actually a Corvette radiator. I made this panel. It's supposed to, well, one, it looks better, and two, direct airflow from under the car in through the radiator. I was talking about building a fan shroud for that, so next time I'm at Tractor Supply, I'm going to order the aluminum angle. I finished a fan shroud on that, and it came out pretty awesome, and I liked it. Showed you I had this catch can in here, and while I was in here, I was reading like rules and stuff, and I made this heat shield. You can see it. I got a lot of hoses and shit in the way, but it's I just bent it a couple times. There's a tab that way that mounts at a firewall. This bend there, and then I had some heat tape. I painted it and put some heat tape on it. It's working pretty good so far. Right now I have the driver's side seatbelt out. I have a Sparco racing harness that I bought just for the driver's side. I only have one bucket seat, and I have this harness. So I have the harness in there, and I took the bolts out, put these eyelets in, and then these are like clip-ins, so that works. And right now I'm building a harness bar that goes across the two pillars. I'll show you. Well, I plated this side and that side. I'm going to have a bar that goes between the shock towers, and then I've also plated up there. And on this side, I'm going to have another bar that goes across. That's going to be the perfect height for the harness bar. So I took some 3/16 plate, welded it in. It's solid and going nowhere. I could have bought a strut brace, but it gives me something that the cage could tie into eventually. It's going to be pretty solid. It should help quite a bit. And now I can have my racing harness in there. Alright, so I showed you I had the plates welded in. I put the bar in. I leveled it. Right now I threw a quick coat of spray paint on there before I wrapped the seat harness, the harnesses on there, just to finish it up. This is braced. I'm going to actually add to that eventually, but it's fine for now. This was as far as I was able to open my hatch before. Right about there. So the wing would hit the car, and since it's a fuel cell, that's where I have to fuel up from. So that's very inconvenient. So I ended up chipping the entire wing off. It's all panel bonded. So I ended up cleaning it all up, sanding it smooth, got all that shit off of there. That was a pain in the ass, and I ended up re-panel bonding it, but further back, and I have full access, and it doesn't hit. So it's a little bit of a win here for me, and now I could work inside the car and fuel up now. So right now I showed you I have those lower harnesses in. I have the paint drying on the harness bar, and tomorrow I'm going to come back after that's dry and put the harness on and see how it feels. We got the harnesses installed, everything's nice and tight, and it's adjusted to me, the seat's adjusted to me. The harness bar is painted, showed that. I got the belts tight. It's going to be a separate video on how to install the belts a little bit better. And then these are zip tied just so the straps aren't flopping around. So back here is done. Next up, I took the shift knob off, and I already made, the hole used to come up to here. I made this panel. So now I'm gonna clean this up and fill that in a little bit more, because this is a Nissan tranny inside this Mazda, so that's the next project. So I'm going to start working on that while I have the welder out still. I showed that I had the seat belts in, the seat harness, and they're wrapped. I made a little template out of cardboard to fill in the shifter hole. So I'm going to trace down to a piece of sheet metal, then zip it out with the plasma cutter, and then I'll be able to put the boot back in, tie that down, and then I'm going to put my shifter back on. And to finish it off, I would pull the cover off the box, but I redid the positive terminal that was all shitty on this car. It was about to break, and I put 2 new ends on the 2 power wires and tied that in. Had to trim the box just a little bit to get the wires to come in, but it's in there, it's nice and tight, the box is secured, it's not going anywhere. So that's another major thing off the list. So now that all this is taken care of back here, I have a few other things I'd like to do before the season starts. Just finished up in the interior, and as you can see, I got that plate welded in. Alright, you can see I made a plate and just tacked it in. I didn't even grind these down or nothing. I'm still learning this new welder, but these aren't too bad for tacks in this thin sheet metal. I might come back in with another piece here, but I want to buy a tube of seam sealer, so I'll probably end up doing that. I didn't get too good on this side because it's still got the sound deadening on it and everything like that, and it's really hard to get with the seat. And then after I did that, also this is a coilover shift knob. So basically you would just loosen the locking rings and you could turn the shifter up higher. I made it a little bit higher than it was. I could technically make it about that much higher maybe. But I like it. This is sealed up now, and I strapped myself into the harness and it feels really good, so I'm happy with that. So wrap it up here for the night, for the day. We're going to do more to come in this car. I want to build tow hooks for it. I have to make a custom one for the front. The rear one I might order because it'll work. I would like to build sheet metal or aluminum door panels for the car. I'd like to build like bash bars to get rid of those stock impact bars that are like plastic on the car. And I want to incorporate jack points in the front and back in them just so it'd be easier to jack up the car. What else do I have on my list? I'm thinking about doing a push button start because I don't like the key situation, and the key I'm getting my way in the ignition, so I just might make it so I could use the key and take the key out of the ignition, turn the power on, or something stupid just to get the key out of the ignition so it don't break off in there or something like that. Or I might just eliminate the key altogether. It's not like an Rx7 ignition is really easy to get past anyway. So it's really not even needed. Subscribe for more, like the video, and comment. Thanks.